Hi guys, welcome aboard if you're brand new, welcome back if you are not, and welcome home if that sits perfectly for you. What we do here is talk about the astrology and tarot for each week. This week is the week of the 16th of October through the 22nd of October 2023. We are coming off a big new moon solar eclipse at 21 Libra. That was exciting energy. And so let's get into what's going on for this week, right? So on Monday, the 16th, we start this week with a Scorpio moon. And we have an opposition to Jupiter and a quincunx to Chiron. So on Monday, see if you can't shrug off any remnants of victimhood, right? Victim cloaks. And the thing is, you know, sometimes shit happens, but how you choose to carry it or wear it is always your choice once you get through that healing process. So Monday is a day to claim your muchness, right? Ask Alice about that if you don't know. This is a day to stake your hold on your healing. So remind yourself of your new stories and absolutely refuse to slide backward in any way. So let those new stories shift your reality as they shift your heart. And then see if you can't notice that they are the same thing, right? On Tuesday, the 17th of October, that Scorpio moon opposes Uranus, trines Neptune, and then Mercury, also in Scorpio, will quincunx Uranus. The moon sextiles Pluto, and then the moon blazes her way into Sagittarius, soon after squaring Saturn. So pay attention to the dream time. This is absolutely a great day to take time to make sense of those messages. And the revelations that come from those messages, they might come in fast and furious. So go as deeply as you're able and be prepared, right? A thing that I know about dream languaging is that sometimes it's hard to figure out your own. So if you need help, absolutely ask. And don't be surprised if on Tuesday afternoon you feel a little pent up once that moon moves into Sag. Remember, though, to get shit done before you before you play or bounce away, as Sages want to do. So on Wednesday, the 18th, that Sag moon will square Venus and quincunx Jupiter, and then trine Chiron, and then the Sun, of course, in Libra, quincunxes Neptune at the end of the day. So the Sun, Mercury, both of them are conjuncting the South Node in Libra. So this is a day that can feel a little bit, let's call it enigmatic, right? Or even, honestly, plain old surreal. So if you can't put your feet down on the ground, see if you can content yourself with floating. Shift your perspective, right? And a big key to Wednesday is to navigate away from anybody who wants to label you today. So definitely feel into the karmic nature of your relationships, right? And sit with what you're trying to learn. See if you can't get behind it, right? And witness it in a different way. Express it very as clearly as you're able, okay? As clearly as you're able, knowing that karma is a function of divine expression, right? And that it's always for you, right? And so just pay attention, right? There might be some things that really just feel ungraspable. And I think part of the process is figuring out that that's okay sometimes. So see how that sits for you on Wednesday. On Thursday, the 19th, that Sag moon quincunxes Uranus, and then Mercury, of course, in Libra, quincunxes Neptune. That moon will square Neptune. I mean, that's so busy, right? And then sextile both Mercury and the Sun before striding her way into Capricorn. And then that Capricorn moon, hello, thank you, is going to sextile Saturn, which is, of course, still in retrograde, right? So this is another kind of floaty day. So definitely kind of heed the non-focal qualities of this energy. And here's the thing, instead of being self-critical, instead of saying, oh, why can't you pay attention, or something like that, right? Why is your head in the clouds? Try reveling in the blur, because here's the deal, you can't shift it, you can't change it until it's ready to shift. And guess what? In the evening, it will shift all on its own. But until then, give yourself permission to explore your own sense of mission, right? In the potential arenas and all those ways that you could pursue that mission, and see if you come up with some gems, right? We lose sight of the fact that dreams and reverie is a language of the universe. And just because our world thrives on hard-edged reality, sometimes the best things are found in the blurred edges. So give yourself permission today, right? And then on Friday, the 20th, that Libra sun is going to conjunct Mercury, 38 minutes into the day, Central Time. And then that Capricorn moon is going to sextile Mars, will trine Venus and Jupiter, and then Mercury in the evening will square Pluto. So you're going to want to move quickly on Friday. Instead, perhaps try taking it easy and just doing a slow lane thing, right? Also, consider your words carefully and mind your movements. So today's expressions really come preloaded with long-term consequences embedded. So see if you can't move and act and create and even be with care, right? On Saturday, the 21st, the Capricorn moon is going to square Chiron overnight. The Libra sun will square Pluto, and then that Capricorn moon gets a little busy. She trines Uranus, she sextiles Neptune, she conjuncts Pluto, right? All those biggies. And then she squares the sun in the evening. And then Venus, Venus is hanging out in Virgo. She trines Jupiter right before the day turns. So it's kind of a deep day. It's a day to find yourself kind of happy in contemplation, and really having the opportunity to gain some awareness in terms of patterns of behavior or your thought patterns that need updating, right? So instead of bogging down in the past focus, right, like guilt or shame or regret or coulda, shoulda, woulda, instead put your attention on what you can do now, right? Now being Saturday, October 21st, to reprogram and shift into some healed patterns that will really allow you to claim that felt sense of home. And what we know about that is, right, when we're talking about home, we're talking about all capital letters, and we're talking about what home feels like for you, what home smells like, what it looks like, what it tastes like, what it sounds like. And so it's 100% self-reflexive, right? Nobody can tell you, nobody can answer those questions for you. Only you can come up with that. So only you can also reprogram your old patterns and witness them and shift out of them. And the only way that you can do that is to know what you want in the future, right? So be okay with that. Perhaps that's what all that reverie early in the week was about, right? So on Sunday, the 22nd of October, that Capricorn moon is going to square Mercury. And then very, very early in the morning, 6 minutes after that, at 1:06 a.m. Ooh, lovely. Lovely, as we just talked about Venus, right? Anyway, at 1:06 a.m., the moon will move into Aquarius. And then, just a very short time after that, Mercury will move into Scorpio. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, that's beautiful, right? We talk about Scorpio as having challenges, but the fact of the matter is Scorpio's real goal is always about union. So what are we to say, right? That's a beautiful thing. Anyway, so then that Scorpio Mercury is going to trine Saturn. The Aquarius moon will square both Mars and Jupiter, and then quincunx Venus. So here's the deal. All of the places and ways that you want to claim detachment from your heart, resist that, right? Meet it with a willingness to go even deeper, right? to express your true desires for union, right? Even though this might not be the exact time to act on those feelings, it's absolutely time to open the conversation. So release your expectations of being met in any certain way, okay? So what I mean by that is, if you expect the certain response, then you really create a situation where you can be disappointed, because we cannot predict how other people are going to respond. They respond how they respond. All you can do is be open-hearted and welcome that response as an opportunity to go more deeply, right, in conversation. And that Scorpio Mercury can, if you allow it, facilitate that, especially as it's training Saturn, right? It wants to get to the bottom of things. So if you allow it, you can have a really deep conversation about long-term union. So yeah, let's talk, shall we? So on Monday, the 16th, we have the Queen of Swords and the Five of Swords. So let's talk about this, right? The Queen of Swords, here's the deal. Everybody wants to label her as bitchy or cold or unfeeling. That's not true. She just accepts no bullshit, right? And that's not cold. That's just realistic. But here we have the Five of Swords, right? So this is about conflict. This is about that Pyrrhic victory, right? Where yes, we won because we refused to back down and we just tacticked ourselves. I don't know if that's a word. We tactically created, there we go, a victory. But what did we really win? Because at the end of the day, we've cleared the playing field, right? We've destroyed the thing we were fighting over, or we've ruined the relationship that we were fighting within. And so sometimes there's a real need to witness that being right is not the same as being happy. And so if you're really looking for no bullshit, you have to choose whether or not you want to be right or whether you want to be happy. And we talked about how we're not going to claim victim status any longer than is required. And by the way, if you want to claim victim status for a long time, that's entirely up to you. But if you do the healing work, then you get to put that down. And instead of reminding yourself of your new stories, right, we're not sliding back into any of those old identifications, which is the difference. Your story is always your story, but your identification as a result of your story is up to you 100%. So let those new stories shift your reality as they shift your heart. And notice that they're the same, right? They're all about ideas. So just pay attention to how you're telling the story about what has happened for you. On Tuesday, the 17th, we've got the Nine of Wands, we've got the Emperor. So the Emperor is a taskmaster, right? This is exacting energy. This is how we do things, right? This is about heavy structure. This is about rules and regulations. And the Nine of Wands, look at her. She's soldiered up, but man, she's a little weary, right? So we're talking about revelations and really witnessing our messages. This is not comfortable with that blurred edge. So remember, we talked about don't be surprised if you feel a little bit pent up, but remember to get your shit done. Absolutely, get your shit done. And then you get to play, right? Then you get to play. And this is Wands. This is fire energy. So we're waiting for that Sag moon, but at the same time, we have to get done the things that we require so that we can play with our minds fully present, right? So just, focus on your tasks and then focus on your fun. There's nothing wrong with that. On Wednesday, the 18th, so we have the Devil and the Two of Pentacles. This is fascinating energy, especially for this day where we have the Sun and Mercury conjuncting the South Node. This is a day that, like we said, could feel enigmatic, right? Or even surreal. And remember, if you can't put your feet down, float. Resist the labelings. And really, really try and come into what are we learning about the nature of our relationships. Well, here's the deal. What are you juggling, right? Where are you really witnessing yourself as that function of karmic expressment? Wow, that function of karmic expression. Feel into the karmic balance of your relationships. Are you focused only on 3D relationships, or are you witnessing what your relationships can do for you in terms of personal growth and self-mastery? Those are important if that's what you're looking for, right? And so really pay attention to where you're juggling between the two, right? If you're a person who's really concerned with spiritual growth, you have to have relationships that have that within them. And if you're a person who just wants to walk this life in your meat suit, which is absolutely okay, by the way, that's what we're here to do, then you need to have relationships that foster that. So just be paying attention to what it is you're calling in and how you're balancing out your attachments, your choices in terms of the 3D, right? We've got the Two of Wands and the Seven of Cups. This is all choices. This is about options, many, many options, many choices. So sorry, I had an event yesterday and I talked all day, so my throat is a little raspy today. My apologies. So on Thursday the 19th, we're talking about this floaty day, but what we're going to do is avoid our self-criticism and choose the blur, right? This is beautiful. We're going to choose the blur and just give yourself permission to be in that energy today. The Seven of Cups revels, well, can revel in the amazing amount of opportunity there is in these many, many options, right? So if you can witness it as confusion, instead of choosing that option and being critical, go ahead and take this as, well, you know, maybe that's just what I'm supposed to do today. So just be in that. And, you know, the bottom line is, if you're going to look for something, see if there's a new option for your own highest and best within these options, right? If it has to be blurry and you don't enjoy that, if you don't prefer it, then make it work for you. Make it a game. See what you can find in the blur that might work for you. We're always interested in clues for our highest and best, right? So on Friday the 20th, we have the Emperor and the Queen of Cups. Wow, these are challengingly opposed energies. So the Emperor again, right, is that buttoned up energy, that squared away energy. And then the Queen of Cups is literally the embodiment of all things emotional and heart-based. So we talked about wanting to move quickly today, right? And instead maybe take the slow lane, considering your words carefully and minding your movements. And remembering, here's the deal, your expressions are going to carry long-term consequences today. So move with care, right? The key here is the Emperor's a great chess player. So this is kind of, they kind of work hand in hand, right? If we're talking about our emotional awareness and our emotional contentment, that's always a game the Emperor is willing to play, because he is, if nothing else, a beautiful chess player. So consider your long-term consequences. And remember that your long-term consequences include you and your emotional state. So you're not only betting for yourself, you're betting with yourself, right? On Saturday the 21st, we have the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Wands. Boy, this is lovely energy. So this is really being in that embodied sensual state and following your heart and your passions. So lovely. So we talked about this as a day that may feel deep, right? And you really might find yourself in contemplation. See how she's contemplating your patterns, your awarenesses when it comes to your behavior, your thoughts, things that need updating. And guess what? The Queen of Pentacles is nothing if not aware of the difference and discernments between what is valued and what is valuable, what is worthy and what's worthwhile. So the King of Pentacles really wants to dive into all that energy too. So instead of bogging down in those coulda, shoulda, wouldas, just be here now, right? Kings and queens, you know, certainly they learn their lessons from the past, but they're all about really creating that felt sense of home and realm and kingdom and queendom. So be in your present energy, because that's where all of your power is, right? There's no power in a coulda, shoulda, woulda. So we have the Queen of Wands and the Three of Swords for Sunday, the 22nd. So again, the Queen of Wands is this, lovely, first of all, divine counterpart to this King of Wands. And so the way that we want to talk about her is she is the embodiment of your passions, right? She's the reason you get up in the middle or in the morning every single day. And she's the reason that you live your life face first, taking bites out of everything, right? It's that, yes, I love this kind of energy. And so we're talking about every way you want to claim detachment, right? I'm so sorry, Scorpio Mercury people. Every way you want to claim your detachment, every way you want to revert and harken back to the old stories, right? It's time to go deeper than that. It's time to move past that and through that and really choose to have the conversation about this. And again, we talked about releasing your expectations of being met in any certain way. Guess what? The Queen of Wands does not care how you meet her. She's going to meet you. And so she's not going to do it carrying a bag full of her hurt and pain. She's going to do it from this place of, yes, let's have this conversation. Even if it's about something painful, yes, let's have this conversation, right? Releasing our expectations and just being open. Okay. We have Look Hard. This is number 11, right? Which is a lovely number, first of all. So this is about cycles, right? And so if we're going to look hard, this is about looking hard not only out in the world, but within, right? We have many places to choose reverie this week. We have many places to choose really taking a deep dive into your own heart, your own soul, and really finding your patterns and your awarenesses that help you to create that next level, which is always super important because we're always moving through our lessons, our levels, our awarenesses, our patterns, right? We have the power to recognize them and put things down so that we can step more lightly into the next portal of learning, which is all we're here to do, right? Let's talk about this. Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. Well, okay. Venus is in Virgo, which wants to accomplish things, right? Like, let me get my routine set. Let me get my food prep done. Let me get my workout schedule set. This is, Venus. Let me do some adjusting to my furniture or something like that, right? Venus in Virgo wants to accomplish things and wants to create a better life and a better felt sense and experience sense of home. That's a beautiful thing, by the way. But right now, we're being asked to have some rest and renewal. And what better time than when we're talking about this blurry state of energy, right? So let's talk about this. This is the place of all is well. Rest and renewal, self-acceptance, right? We talked about this. Don't be too hypercritical. Instead, just give yourself permission to be in whatever energy there is. So here we go. When the Garden of Venus appears, you are invited, actually summoned, to return to the pleasure garden of love. Well, who wants to argue with that, right? It's time to leave the field of battle. Thank you, Queen of Swords. Put your sword away. There's nothing you need to defend anymore. Step through the gate into the garden of earthly delights. Did we not just have this conversation? Bask in the joy of wish-fulfilling trees and the scent of healing flowers. You have returned home. I mean, did we not just say this? Yes, we did. You are weary, and it's time to rest deeply and be renewed. Go into this sacred garden alone, as there is no need for another to be present to experience its pleasures. Really, stop looking for the other. Enter by yourself. Allow your senses to intoxicate you. Leave all thought behind. Lose your analytical mind and return to your body, right? This is a beautiful function of Virgo and Venus. Venus and Virgo, that you can choose the sensual nature of Venus as opposed to the thinking, functioning nature of Virgo. You can do that. You can just be in your body. That's a gorgeous, let's call it a possibility with that earth sign, because Virgo is an earth sign, right? Function and presence are two different things if you want them to be. They can be wedded, but they can also be the same. Okay. In the Garden of Venus, there is a still pond that shows you your reflection when you stoop down to drink. Who is that staring back at you? Look at who you've become. Rinse your face with these healing waters and practice deep acceptance. Love who you have turned into with all of your imperfections and blemishes. The goddess Venus holds a mirror that allows you to see yourself in all your flawed beauty. Do not be caught in its spell. After a quick glance, take the mirror with you and return to the battlefield that you may reveal to others who they are becoming. And then you will no longer have use for your sword. Right? So, I am a big believer that the only sword you need to claim is the truth. Right? The only sword you need to claim is the truth. And that's a beautiful mandate, right? Take the mirror so that others choose to put down their swords, because the only thing we're ever really fighting is our own reflection in someone else, right? So whatever it takes to get through these illusional days, right? Not delusional, but illusional days, to get to this grounded state of deep presence. Make sure you put that work in early this week. I know that the eclipse weather was challenging, very much for me. Hopefully not as challenging for you all, but I hope you got through them and weathered that. And then this week we really have that opportunity to kind of process that and get where you want to go, get where you prefer to be, right? Create your home, your sense of home, and that's within and without, right? Home is a place you live, both in yourself and in the world. So pay attention. And if you create your life as this Garden of Venus, you never have to worry about where that may be found, right? So big blessings. Take care. I will see you guys definitely next week, if not before, right? Yeah. Be blessed.